Monday. Please sit, relax, calm down. It's very hard to control an audience of 0. It really is. We have handlers here for that. Jay, what are your thoughts on technology? Do you love it? I know you love it.
I love technology. I'm addicted. As you know, our house is just riddled with things that I love collecting because I always feel like I'm going to miss out if I don't have the newest form of technology out there.
You have all the gadgets and the watches and the iPhones and all that stuff, right?
I do. I always sit there and tell myself each new thing is a new birthday present to myself, so I've collected about 8,000 birthday
So you're about
presents.
9,000 years old at this point, and everyone is a birthday gift?
Pretty much. That's what I tell myself to justify them buying it.
Do you remember back in like the 90s when the internet was first starting to like boom and all like the Yahoo chat rooms? Do you remember going to all of those? Did you do that?
I remember trying to go on all those, but with slow dial-up and people constantly wanting to use the phone, that kind of minimized my chat room activity.
Okay. My cousin Kim and I used to do that. I used to go to her house and we would go in the chat rooms. And do you remember the shows that they would make about the creepy guys who would like talk to people online and like, you want to come over and hang out in my basement? So I want to talk about how far technology has come, that now you can have a show in your basement and you can go on Twitter and talk to random people and say, hey, come hang out in my basement. Now it's cool. And that's what brought our first guest here today. What brought him back was that I suck at technology and I deleted our entire first filming of his episode. We filmed this episode that was supposed to air today, last week, and then I deleted it. And he was nice enough to come back today on Labor Day and do a brand new show for you. So, please welcome author W P Rigler.
Hello, happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day. Come have a seat.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming back. My, how I've missed you. It's been days.
Yes, this whole time continual thing is very confusing.
It is
when you're on
confusing.
YouTube, I guess.
It's all a blur. How are you with technology?
I am horrible at technology. I still read books. I haven't gotten to the whole Kindle generation, and I miss the old video cassette recorders. Yeah, I mean the tape might jump out at you, but you didn't really have it disappear from the disc. So yeah, I'm pretty old-fashioned with technology.
I see though that you are online a lot though. You have a blog.
I have a blog at Blogspot, Rigler Writes, and WordPress.
You've been doing that for a long time.
A couple years. I Twitter.
You Twitter a lot.
Yeah. Well, some. I know some who Twitter more.
Well, yes, but I know some that Twitter less.
Yes. Okay. Usually when I'm very bored, I get Twitter going. I'm William Rigler at Rigler Writes at Twitter. You notice there's a trend with the name catching on there. But I guess that is the cool thing about technology, in that you can meet people with similar interests from around the world, can kind of come back and surprise you a bit, because there's a person on Twitter that I occasionally just tweet back and forth with. Is that correct? You tweet back and forth?
I think so,
okay.
as far as I know.
Yeah, I tweeted back and forth with, and I wished her a happy Labor Day. She said, well, that doesn't really apply to me, I'm British. Which I didn't know, because she didn't have her country listed or anything. She said, oh yeah, she hasn't been in America for a while. I guess she had moved there, but she's British now. But she gets to celebrate Guy Fawkes Day.
Oh.
So there you go.
Well, lucky her. But she should really update her bio on Twitter, otherwise how are people going to know?
Well, she just has nothing listed on
that's
just
rude.
her interest, no location.
Oh.
I was plugging like stuff I was doing in the area. That's why I had my location. I figured trying to sell the books in person, they would find me.
Right.
Would be a good thing on most occasions.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you like technology? If you're not really, you're on it kind of, sort of, but do you like the way that it's advanced with phones and having iPads everywhere you go, and everybody is in their hands instead of looking at what's going around?
Yeah, it's a different world. I mean, you can, well, if you have a cell phone, and I have the most primitive of all cell phones, I hate these smartphones because right in their title they're smarter than I am. But you can make a call from anywhere. I can remember 10 years ago having to look for a payphone here, there, or wherever. I don't know, can you find payphones anymore?
Do you know
Do
that
even have
I
to?
just read something where in, I think, New York, they're turning old payphone booths into Wi-Fi hotspots.
There you go. It
Yeah.
changes
So that explains a lot, doesn't it?
Yep, the Wi-Fi revolution.
Yeah. I heard that you're not big into Instagram. Correct. You have it.
I have it. I think somebody posted something on Instagram that I wanted to see, and then I realized you're actually supposed to be posting from your phone or something.
Right.
Yeah, so there is, I think, surprisingly enough, called Rigler Right,
Yeah.
an Instagram account. But yeah, I don't really post on it
How come?
because I don't have a phone to post pictures on.
You have a
so-
flip phone?
Yeah, I have a flip phone.
So I thought it's our first show in our new studio.
Nice
Show
studio.
number one. What happens if what happens if we were to take your first photo for Instagram, and then you could post it on my phone?
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that?
That's
Can we do that?
That would liven up the old Instagram.
I'm
account,
telling
I
you.
guess.
Here, wait. Let me see if I know how to use this first. Because right now I'm taking one of the camera.
And if you take it, let's get it on Instagram fast.
Fast,
Yeah.
otherwise it'll be old news. Okay, ready?
Get over here.
And then after, wait, how do you do this? Then after the show, you can, ready? There, that was it.
Yeah, there we go.
And then after the show, we can post it, and you can have your first photo. And then
There you
it'll
go.
go viral, I'm sure.
I'm.
I don't know how to turn it off, so we'll just leave it.
Yeah, we'll just leave it on.
We'll figure that out later. You went to college, right?
I've done time at some colleges, and I've
Prison,
gone.
it sounds.
Well, it kind of felt like it more once or twice, but yeah, I've gone to a few colleges, and I've gone to the Maryland Broadcasting Institute, which is something you get a degree from, and I went very briefly to the New York Film Academy just for one summer, which is again something you just to get a degree for a program you did, as opposed to any type of official sounding
You don't have anything
title. No,
framed in your house?
Oh, there were things framed
Oh.
from there, but it doesn't give me any really kind of a title or
No.
anything. Yeah,
What years were that?
they
When
would have
did you
been
do that?
throughout the mid to late '90s.
What was that like with technology, I guess, is our theme today of like, what was it like with the
Well-
technology then?
Well, again, it was just sort of developing a lot of it, and I know at the New York Film Academy we actually shot on film, black and white film, because people liked the quality that film gives. However, everything was transferred to digital for editing purposes. So we were editing in a digital suite, black and white film, so you sort of had, hopefully, the best of both worlds. I was sort of confused by both worlds. I know on the first big lecture they gave you on the editing suite about what to do with the computer and how to use it, and I hadn't really used computers at that point. And at one point they said, well, you do this first, that second, this, third, any questions? And I was like, well, what is this mouse you're talking about? So yeah, I really was not good with technology back then, and still not.
What made you decide to go to college?
I just had an interest in filmmaking and writing, just artistic type stuff. And I mean, the great thing about writing, I guess you can kind of do it anywhere, any means you can. I mean, you're getting more and more towards that with filmmaking and TV production these days, but still, it's kind of helpful if you have a guy to hold the film.
Sometimes
device.
it does.
Sometimes,
You
yeah.
can do it by yourself.
Yeah, and such, and so, you know, I just really got into writing because I tended to be more on the introvert scale. In fact, I remember one time, again, in one of those early brief college courses I took, they gave you just a quiz to know yourself better, and they gave you the introvert-extrovert test to see whether you were more of an introvert or extrovert. Then they showed the class of about 20 people the results.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, no, not the author, but you answered, but who was on the,
Oh,
how
okay.
many people they had on the introvert side, how many people on the extrovert side. And there was this long black line going down the center of the graph. And there were little dots pretty close to that on both sides, except for one dot way, way, way over on the introvert side. That was me.
Yeah. But of course, you're an introvert, so you weren't going to be like, that's me!
Not really. I mean, yeah, it became obvious that I was the most likely to be the introvert of the group. But like I said, I enjoy film, and I'm good with an audience if I'm in front of that. But as opposed to that, I'm just happier writing or doing my own hobby type thing.
How long have you been writing? What age did you start?
I've always been writing to some degree. I can remember writing stuff in middle school, just minor assignments, and it actually being liked by other kids in the class, and a couple of them occasionally taking the stories that I had written, you know, because they liked it to read later. You know, even back then I started out as a writer not getting paid anything for it. So.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you, were you always interested in this genre of sci-fi and horror mystery, or?
I was always interested in science fiction, fantasy, that sort of stuff. As we have decided, I'm not really good with technology, so science fiction wasn't really going to be my forte. So I had to move more into the fantasy genre and the horror genres. So most of my writings tend to be in those genres, either as short story collections, or I have one longer book. It's really more of a novella than a novel, but it is a pretty, it's a story that I sort of let grow from its origin as a very short story to a longer piece of work.
And what book is that? You've released 3 books so far, right?
Yeah, I've had 3 books come out. Taylor's Taste was released by a publisher. It's no longer really available. But that was the vampire novel that dealt with the Jack the Ripper murders back in London of 1888. It transpires throughout the early 20th century and up to modern time, really, dealing with the reason that the Ripper murders supposedly occurred, in my imagination at least. And it has to do with vampires and the lost city of Atlantis, and there's a vendetta that goes on through the generations. So that was my big stab at making a longer work with multiple characters.
When, do you remember kind of what it was like to get that first book published, how hard it was,
Well,
or what, did it come easily for you?
Well, the first book I published was Summoned Secrets, which is a collection of short stories and a little bit of poetry. And
Is that still available?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
available
okay.
at my site at lulu.com /spotlight /W Rigler.
Okay, and we'll
It's
put that
available there.
we'll put that at the end of the show, and you'll know where to go to get his books.
Somebody would know where to go.
Someone will
That's
know.
good.
So, or tweet him about it, and he can
That's-
send you the link.
That's right. And I pretty much had been writing a lot of stories, and none of them really were extremely embraced by editors, should I say. So I kind of liked them. I was getting the best reviews you could get and still be rejected, it seemed like. They were saying very nice things about it, but maybe they were just really nice people, I don't know. So I went ahead and just put the stories together, mostly newer stories that I had written at the time, like 2011, 2010, and just put them together into a book and just put them out via lulu.com. I mean, I guess that's one of the nice and scary things about technology. You can sort of do what you want, but I mean, are you a writer when you have a book out, if you put it out yourself, or have had somebody publish it for you, or if you're doing a blog, or if you're writing journalism articles,
You're in a
either
talk
on
show
yourself
on the
or online.
internet.
Yeah, where did it all come from?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Yeah, it's interesting that anybody can sort of do what their passion is now, but then it's also like you have all these breakout like YouTube stars and all these like there are celebrities on Instagram that are just famous for posting pictures.
probably so. See, I don't even know.
It's
them.
like, and does that make you like a celebrity? Like, does that have any impact? There's such easy access now, which has its pluses and minuses, I think.
Well, the same thing just with reality TV. I mean,
Right.
people are just famous for being themselves, theoretically, and some people apparently find that fascinating.
Yeah, we were just talking about that with the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The who were you talking about? Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Like, she has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but some huge major celebrities who have not just like been in awesome movies and have done great things, but have also done super philanthropic things and have done things to try to help the world don't have like they're not good enough. I don't know.
Well, I know one publisher I had sent some things to. Their very first question, beyond what is the story about or what's the word count, the question was how many Twitter followers do you have?
Wow.
So yeah, it's just a whole new social networking business trend out there.
Yeah. How do you write your books? When you decide to sit down and write, are you a pen to paper? Are you on your computer? Or not? Has that changed at all?
Well, I used to, because back when I sort of started writing, wasn't really that much access to computers, so it's pretty much pen to paper. And at one time I had the rare antique known as the portable typewriter.
Oh, I used to have one of those.
And it was great because then I updated to an electric typewriter, which was supposedly better, but you can't carry it around with you unless you have a really long cord.
Yeah.
You have a really long cord and it does me no good. So I kind of stuck with the portable typewriter until
You're at Starbucks with the typewriter.
Yeah. I guess I should have the old fedora hat on and
maybe a cigar or a pipe. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, writing. But I finally moved up to the computer, the laptop, and it's funny because I had a creative writing teacher who said that, oh yeah, he always loved writing with a typewriter and thought there was nothing more fulfilling than just pulling a piece of paper out there that you didn't like and crumpling it up and throw it away.
Right.
But you can get the same satisfaction from hitting delete, according to him.
You can take it and throw it in the box.
Just make sure that when you hit that delete, you know what you're deleting.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, otherwise you're back on Monday on Labor Day working, and that's what happens. Would you say that you would rather read, write, or watch horror and fantasy films or books? What's your favorite thing to do?
Well, I'm a fan of all of it, really.
Okay.
I enjoy writing, especially when you get a really good turn of phrase or a really good idea that you think you've come up with. I know on a lot of my blogs, WordPress stuff, I sort of advertise the horror books, but I like to find humor in horror and stuff like that. I know at one point I posted a blog on how to tell if you might be a ghost. If you were born when Lincoln was president, you might be a ghost. That's one clue. If you keep eating and you don't put on any weight, that might be a clue that you're a ghost. Yeah. So like I said, I enjoy the whole experience. I'm really into more or less the classic black and white shadows on a wall type horror films, and some of the more modern ones, although I can appreciate them too. And I'm a big fan of the horror conventions and stuff. I go to a lot of different conventions, meeting film people, other writers. I've had my book at a couple in the past, so that's always an interesting thing. There are a few interesting ones in Maryland coming up for the October Halloween season. So.
Was it Comic-Con that was here this weekend, past weekend?
Baltimore Comic-Con, I think.
Did you go to that or not?
Did not go to that.
Have you ever?
I've never been to Baltimore Comic-Con. You have to venture way into the convention center in downtown Baltimore, and I kind of like some of the more remote areas. There are a lot in Hunt Valley that I've been to. They have Monster Mania, they have Nostalgia Convention, they have Surely. So yeah, they have enough to keep me busy out there in Hunt Valley.
You grew up in Maryland, correct?
Yes.
What's your favorite part about living here?
I'm still looking for that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's some nice aspects to it. This is going to sound like a cheat of an answer, but I like the location because it's right between Baltimore and Philadelphia, where I live, so I can get to kind of both places. In New York's a little bit further journey, but pretty much still within a day if you want to get there.
Yeah, it seems like a really nice central location to get to many different spots.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it seems like New York's a few-hour drive, D.C., like, it's a very centralized location, and judging by the license plates that you see on the road, everyone's driving through here.
And which license plates get you the most?
Well, they might be watching, and I don't want anybody to not like my show.
You don't want any viewers.
That's right, I love everybody
any
on the road.
viewers.
I don't have road rage. What sparks your creativity to start writing?
I don't really know where it comes from. Stories can come from different places. I was inspired to write one story which didn't really develop much, although there was sort of a reboot of it in my book, Midnight Ridings. And I happened to be driving down Route 40, and there was a hearse driving beside me. And I guess it just had to get somewhere. I don't know if there's anyone enjoying the ride in there or not, but...
Why did the hearse cross the road? Is that a joke?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like there was a funeral, there were no other cars with it or anything, so it just had to go somewhere, I guess.
And that sparked the newest book that came out last year, right?
Well, there was a story in Midnight Ridings, which I actually think at one point was called The Hearse, and then I think has gone through different metamorphoses. But basically, it has a sort of mysterious character interested in renting a hearse from a funeral parlor.
Renting one. And
Renting.
The story of...
Yeah.
Oh. Are you more interested in, like, the blood and the guts, or are you more interested in the feeling behind it and the mystery of it all?
Yeah, I like the. I sound like I'm trying to make myself sound very intellectual, but more interested in the psychological motivations of the horror story, as opposed to just types of dismemberment. I kind of stick away from that. I certainly don't categorize myself in his league, but I'm interested in Poe. There's your Baltimore connection too. I mean, of course, he didn't make it out of Baltimore.
Right.
So yeah, when I go down occasionally to Fells Point, you can definitely feel the vibe there of the Poe history. A lot of people aren't aware of this, but there's actually a very, very small graveyard in Fells Point.
Really?
Yeah, it's, I believe, it's the Fells graveyard, and there's 2 people in it, and
That's even creepier.
it's between all the buildings down there. I'm not sure if it's an apartment building on one side or the other, but it's right between it, yeah. And there are, of course, rumors about it being haunted on certain nights.
Because you're super into the folklore of the area too, right? You love all the...
At one point, I did ghost tours in Happy Grace, and I've been to a couple places like Fells Point and the Hollingsworth House in Cecil County to enjoy a ghost hunt.
No, thank you. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk more about the scariness of Maryland and not just the drivers here. And we'll be right back right after this. Hi everyone, we're back with W P Rigler. You can get his books at lulu.com/spotlight/W. I don't want to say it wrong. W Rigler.
And it's backslash. What is that? The
Backslash.
same as front slash? I guess.
I always say slash because I always feel like it's the same one.
It
Slash.
might be. If you try both, you'll probably find
Just
it.
Google it.
Eventually.
You'll find them. That's how I found them. We're going to take a BuzzFeed quiz. Are you ready? Have you ever been on BuzzFeed?
No,
Okay.
I don't even know what BuzzFeed is.
BuzzFeed is a website that just has a whole bunch of random stuff on it.
Well, that's like every website, isn't it?
Yeah, but this one's viral though.
Okay.
So the name of the quiz, it has a lot of quizzes and like pictures and articles about things around the world. This one is, do you have good taste in horror movies? So I saw this and I want you to take it, okay? Because we're going to see if we believe you.
Okay.
So choose a classic slasher movie. Your options are Friday the 13th, Scream, A Nightmare on Elm Street, My Bloody Valentine, Halloween, or Psycho.
Psycho.
Okay.
Now, is this the original one?
Yes.
This is the remake.
No, it was the original.
Okay, well, let's go with the original Psycho. And I guess the Halloween, that was the original one?
Yes.
See, I do this with people all the time.
Yeah, no, these are all like the originals.
We'll
Yes,
go with
these are the,
Psycho.
and you can, they have like photos of the, so they're all the
Okay.
originals. Choose a movie. The Exorcist, The Shining, Rosemary's Baby, Frankenstein, Night of the Living Dead, or Dracula.
I have to look at the pictures
Okay.
because there's so many different versions of... Go with Frankenstein.
Okay.
There's so many different versions of Frankenstein.
Okay.
The guy's dead but really gets around.
So, for good taste in movies, you picked, what did you pick? Psycho?
Psycho.
Only 21, that was in third place. So you're average. For this next one, you picked, what'd you pick? Frankenstein. That was last place. You
That
chose
was last
so.
place. So.
Choose pick a modern supernatural movie. Paranormal Activity, The Conjuring, Insidious, Annabelle, The Blair Witch Project, or The Cabin in the Woods.
Now, I have to pick the Blair Witch Project because that's the only one I've seen of them.
Did you see they're redoing that one too?
Yeah, but they'll probably have a bigger budget.
Mm-hmm.
Blair Witch Project came in fourth. Choose a remake horror film. Friday the 13th from 2009. Let Me In from 2010. Halloween 2007. Carrie 2013. Evil Dead 2013. Nightmare on Elm Street 2010.
Halloween. This is easy for me because I've only seen one of all of these movies.
Halloween came in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th place. Okay? Pick a zombie movie. Dawn of the Dead, 28 Days Later, Zombieland, Dead Alive, The Return of the Living Dead, or Shaun of the Dead.
I'll say Dawn of the Dead.
Okay.
I want to say White Zombie, which was like from the 30s with Bela Lugosi, but no one's putting that
Nope,
in this
no,
quiz.
it's not on here.
No
There's
one's
no
putting
write-in mode.
Bella.
That came in 4th.
Okay.
Choose a horror TV series. Penny Dreadful, Hannibal, Scream Queens, The Walking Dead, American Horror Story, Supernatural, The Twilight Zone, or Dead of Summer.
Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm. Clearly there are young kids. American Horror Story was first, Walking Dead. Twilight Zone was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I forgot to tell you that BuzzFeed a lot of young kids look at. Choose a TV character. Hannibal Lecter, Michonne from The Walking Dead, which Dean Winchester from some show I don't know.
Supernatural.
Supernatural.
I've seen
Oh,
that.
great. Jesse Tyler, Dean Munch, and Glenn from The Walking Dead.
Dean Winchester, because he isn't the only one I'm familiar with.
Okay. Oh, he came in first.
Oh.
Look at you. Choose a main protagonist. How long is this quiz? Laurie Strode from Halloween, Nancy Thompson on Nightmare on Elm Street, Sidney Prescott from Scream, Ash from The Evil Dead, Christy from Hellraiser, or Aaron from You're Next.
Oh, Ash from The Evil Dead.
Okay. Third place. Choose a recent horror movie. The Forest, The Witch, The Conjuring 2, The Neon Demon, The Darkness, or Lights Out.
Just because it sounds good, I'll go with the Neon Demon, but I'm not familiar with any
Okay.
of
The
them.
poster looks fun.
Yeah.
Looks like a party. That came in second to last. So that was
So
it.
even when I'm guessing, I'm not really
Yeah.
having any luck.
So don't take this as whether or not he's a good author, because those are movies and not books.
I was about to say that almost seemed more like a popularity contest instead of like if you have good taste.
If it's
in-
actually good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like who has the biggest ratings right now?
Yeah.
That's what that was.
Well, it's funny because I happen to be in a zombie film made in Cecil County, very close by here, called Trailer Park of the Living Dead. And people thought I was like a zombie expert. Like, no, I haven't seen most of the zombie films that have come up. I just happen to be dressed as a zombie,
I just have
wandering
one.
around in a background scene for some of this footage. So, I'm not really a zombie expert, but people thought I was for some reason.
Look, when you look like a zombie. If it looks like a zombie and walks like a zombie, it is a zombie.
But again, I could talk about the really old zombies
True.
thing.
Do you, you've been in a couple movies, right?
Yeah, I mean, very briefly, you know, just, I think I had one line in one of them. I got to be a vampire, so vampires actually talk,
That's
unlike
fun.
zombies.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Do you like it as much as writing?
It's
Acting?
fun, it's completely different. Like I said, I'm pretty much not really acting, I'm just kind of staggering with blood on me, mostly. So I wouldn't really consider it that challenging. But yeah, I like both of them. I get to experiment more with my writing, of course, because I have much greater vista to play on.
Are you working on anything right now?
I have a couple stories. I think I've been kind of re-going through some of the old ones, rewriting, sending them out to some new places to see if there's any luck this time around.
Well, they'll see you on this and be like, well, we have to have him.
I would imagine.
That
I would
superstar from that
imagine,
really
yeah.
big talk show.
Yeah, he has Twitter followers now.
Right.
Yeah.
And he has an Instagram post. Get him in the office.
One post,
That's
and
right.
who knows how many tweets.
Are you are you a big Halloween person? Or are you the person who's like, I can't stand all the people dressing up? Or do you love it?
I love Halloween, but I really only celebrate it by reading a scary book or watching a movie, so I'm generally not out dressed up or doing anything like that.
Mhm.
I do go to some of the horror conventions that occur around Halloween time, so that's the most active I get involved with the spirit of the season. Since I really just don't like to dress up unless I've done it for friends' shoots and things like that.
What about the actual ghost stories of the area? You enjoyed that
Well, like
craziness, right?
Yeah, I've had a couple odd experiences. I was at the Hollingsworth House in Cecil County, which is a historically preserved house from colonial days. And at one point when I was walking by, the door opened on its own, which is not really that thrilling or exciting. But, you know, I did ask the medium who was giving the tour if stuff like that happened, and she said, yeah, that can be possibly how they're making contact. And I had a similar experience happen to me at a pub in Fells Point. I think it was called the Whistling Oyster. I was talking to the bartender about ghost legends of Fells Point, and he said, yeah, that they had some odd experiences happening there. And as we were talking, one of the doors opened and made a loud creak on its own. So, I mean, it's not really anything you can put your finger on. It's a definition for a ghost making an appearance, but it's odd that the same thing happened to me in two different places.
That's really creepy. Does that stuff, does the thought of that intrigue you or scare you?
I guess if they were doing more than opening doors, it would scare me, but at that point, it just kind of intrigues me.
But you used to did you host the walking ghost tour?
Well, I was
or-
one of the tour guides
Yeah.
for a Havre de Grace ghost tour. So yeah, I was acquainted with the local ghost tales and folklore and just the history of the town too, because that was part of the tour. But we never had anything really scary happen, and I always tried to no. I was just going to say I always try to make the people on the tour feel comfortable and relaxed, because I would tell them that I haven't lost anyone on the tour yet, but I was new at it. So
I haven't lost anybody yet, but it's day one.
Yeah, we're just starting out, so we'll wait and see what happens.
Are there any super crazy stories to tell?
You mean that happened to me, or
No. From when you were a tour guide, from when you were walking around, was there crazy things that happened in Havre de Grace?
Well, there was one place in Havre de Grace called the Seneca House. It was built by Stephen Seneca, who I guess back in the either early 1900s, early 1800s was a mayor of the town, and his is supposedly one of the most haunted houses in Havre de Grace, and supposedly people see a lot of lights in the windows and odd things. It's a doctor's office now, so there really shouldn't be any activity going on in the evening. But I know once or twice when I had given tours, people claimed to be seeing things in the windows. I never personally did, but I'm really bad at catching things like that. people usually see me, recognize me before I recognize them anyway, just in life, probably because of the beard. But, so, I really didn't have any spooky occurrences on the tour. And I mean, there's a lot of things in Happy Grace that people are a little surprised to hear about and stuff, because there was, in the 1930s, it would have been the late 1960s at the Seneca House, where they see things in the window. There was a relatively famous or infamous murder of Dr. Robot was the name of the doctor who was murdered. He was found strangled in August 1967, 69, something like that, and supposedly it's his spirit that is still seen.
I would like you to come back, since it's only September, to maybe do some Halloween fun stuff with us. What do you think about that?
Okay, that'd be good. Like I said, Halloween is a favorite time, so.
Do you do like haunted houses and stuff? Please tell me no. I don't like that.
No, well, actually, there's this thing that's going to be, it's actually an outdoors event, so
Okay.
you won't be scared. I'm not sure if I'm doing that this year or not, but it might be this year. But it would be dressing up as possibly a scary ringmaster or clown or something like that.
Okay. I can do that as long as there are people around me to block whatever's happening, and so I don't pee myself. So, what was I going to say? So I want to, thank you for coming, and I'm super excited about Halloween, because I would like to get out of my comfort zone and maybe explore some things with you around the area and film them so you all can be just as scared as I am. We'll see. I'm not sure. But go get your books, or go get his books, lulu.com/spotlight/W Rigler. Find him on Twitter.
If you can.
If you can, Rigler Writes, and also now on Instagram. He's new to that, and Tumblr, and apparently everything else that he doesn't know anything about.
I'm good for one day on all the sites.
One day at a time.
Yeah.
And then he's off for a while. Yeah, 3 books. What about the movie? Is that available?
What movie?
The movie you were in.
It has been available in places.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you could find it easily or
Probably
not.
on YouTube.
I think at conventions and stuff, it has been shown and been available, but I don't think it's in any type of wide release at the moment.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being here, sir.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure. We will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye. I love you. See ya.